This video is sponsored by Upside. More on that in a little bit. We good? Is it recording? This is the Walmart bike, and I hate to say it, but it's kind of a game changer. There's some things I like about it, there's some things I hate about it, and there's one thing that I kind of love about it. And I'm going to tell you guys why this might be the perfect bike for some people, possibly even you. This is the Hitachi GTX 250, or what I call the Walmart bike, because you can buy it at Walmart. You can actually legit go to walmart.com, buy this thing for around $2,000. It shows up at your door in a couple days later. That's why we call it the Walmart bike. And the name Hitachi is definitely trying to sound Italian when it's the most Chinese motorcycle that you could possibly buy. A few months ago, I bought this thing at Walmart, and just over 2,000 bucks, and it really is the perfect size and performance and price for an entry-level motorcycle. If you go to Marketplace, go to Craigslist, go wherever you go to buy motorcycles, and compare this to like an older, a 20-year-old Ninja 250, this is in the same price range. And I'm kind of on the fence. Would I rather have a beat-up old Ninja 250, or would I rather have this, which is brand new? With what I know, I mean, it is on the fence. I'm not sure which one is actually the better entry-level bike. Yeah, it's cheap. Yeah, it's not bad looking. So the big question on my mind and everyone else's mind is, will it hold up? And it all comes down to the engine, and the engine is made by Zhongshan. If that means anything to you. If it doesn't, it might. Zhongshan, if you have not heard, is actually one of the world's largest engine builders. It's right there kind of along the same lines with Lafon. And even though they're just now breaking into the US market, to the rest of the world, they're actually pretty well known. Now what they are is they're Honda clones. Like a lot of the third world engines, they just kind of take a good thing and they keep on making it, and they kind of clone it, and they kind of steal their IP, but no one can do anything about it because it's China. But they're still reliable because Honda made a reliable motor. And actually, a decent amount of the parts are interchangeable with OEM Honda parts. Another bike that they also make that we have seen in America is the Hawk. Now, I've got a decent amount of experience. We made a Hawk video like a long time ago, 6-7 years ago. This is my 2019 Hawk 250 that I bought on Amazon. This bike horrifies me. And since we made that video, I've talked to maybe a dozen people that have had Hawks, and with all of them over 20 or 30,000 miles, which is, I thought it would last maybe 5. So the fact that you can buy a bike for 1,600 bucks and it'll do 30,000 miles and they're still running, that's pretty impressive to me. Especially when you consider that a large majority of the entry-level motorcycles that you look up online, like even 20 years old, still have less than 30,000 miles on them. It's not that people don't ride them that much. They buy them, they learn how to ride, they have fun, they get some of the basics, and then they sell it, they move on. And since these things were not first released in America, they were first released in other third world countries, they're kind of tested and built for third world reliability, which seems to work out pretty well around here. Now, when it comes to the styling is a couple different motorcycles put together. You get the Kawasaki, the Ninja, the Honda, the Yamaha. They took styling points from all of them and put it all in one bike. It's basically what you would get if you typed in your AI, hey, take all the major sport bikes, put them all together into one thing, make it somewhat unique. Bam, this thing pops up. Which is not a losing formula. I'd rather them do that and make something that, kind of resembles something else. You gotta admit, it looks pretty cool, versus trying to do their own thing with bad designers and making it look ugly. Now, you might be wondering what it's powered by. The Japanese manufacturers will power a 250 in a lot of different ways. A single, a parallel twin, sometimes even an inline 4. Almost never a V-twin, but occasionally. The Chinese are really trying to keep things simple, trying to keep things inexpensive, and will almost always be a single cylinder. So this is powered by a 233 single cylinder motor. And from there, it goes to a 6-speed gearbox, sequential gearbox, of course. Some of them are 5 speeds, but I believe this one's a 6-speed. And then it goes to a regular chain drive, back to normal wheels. The cool thing about it is it uses normal tire sizes. So you're not gonna have to go on Amazon or whatever, or Temu to buy your tires. You can go to any motorcycle shop and just get, you know, a nice set of tires, which I would probably recommend. These tires aren't awful, but if you're really gonna be running it, I don't like cheaping out on tires. I'll cheap out on other stuff, but not tires. So the bike only weighs 330 pounds, which is incredibly light. It's a very, very light little sport bike. And upon looking at the reviews are pretty good on this thing. The only time I saw a bad review was because they sent them the wrong bike, or because when it showed up, it was damaged. Everyone else had pretty high reviews about this thing. Now, obviously, that's not a long-term review. That's fairly short-term of how it showed up and when they unboxed it. But it is showing something. While I'm showing you this bike that is possibly the biggest money-saving motorcycle ever because it's so cheap, let me show you another way to actually not just save money, but make money. Now, if you've noticed, like I have, my hobby of motorcycle riding or driving or doing anything, it's gotten slightly more expensive because gas prices have been going up. That's why I've been using Upside for everything I possibly can, whether it's getting gas or going out to eat. With Upside, you actually earn money with normal things that you're already gonna buy anyway. Let me show you guys how it works. You open up the Upside app. Let's say I want gas. All right, from the local gas stations that are doing the best thing. This one, I get 14 cents per gallon cash back on all diesel. There's over 100,000 gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants on the Upside app, ensuring that cash back is always just around the corner. It's actually real cash back. There's no credits, no rewards. It's just actual cash back money that you get right into your account. Upside users are earning over $1 million in cash back. It's easy to use. You claim the offer, pay like you normally would with your debit or credit card, and then just follow the steps on the app for you to get paid. People can earn 3 times more cash back with Upside than any other product. That includes loyalty programs or credit card rewards. Upside has given back over $1 billion to its users. To find out how much you can earn, go to the free Upside app and use promo code Srkcycles to get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first tank of gas using promo code Srkcycles. I love it. You guys are gonna love it too. Let's go back and finish reviewing this motorcycle now that we're all gassed up. So let's talk about the ergonomics of the bike. Yeah, it feels like a normal entry-level sport bike. I'm 6'2". I don't feel super small on it. It's fairly comfortable for me. Been on smaller bikes, I'm not sure which ones, but this feels pretty good. It's not that much smaller than a 600 would. So you might ask why this is a great entry-level bike. 1, it's cheap. It's very, very, very cheap. 2, I do think it's pretty cool looking. 3, from what I can tell, it's not that unreliable. And the best part about it is it's not that fast. It's fast enough to be fun, like tons of fun, 20 steps up from a moped or a Grom or something like that. But it tops out at 67 miles an hour. So your fun is all gonna be less than speeding range. You're not gonna get caught doing wheelies on the highway going 120 miles an hour. And for an entry-level rider, for a young rider, I really like that. So I feel general with some things I like about it, some things I don't like. I think it's funny that they just put burn warning. They laser etched burn warning on the side of the exhaust. Some of the problems is, as of now, I don't think that you can replace the cheaper components with better components. There's no direct bolt-on for any other bike that's in the market that I've found. Maybe I will find that. It would be cool if you could modify this, make it a little bit faster, make it a little more sportier. But what I love about this bike, and let me show you. So we needed to pull the battery out of this thing a couple of months ago to put in something else. Right now the bike has no battery. And you're wondering like, oh, well, you're not gonna do a test drive, it has no battery? Well, you're wrong, because we are gonna do a test drive. Because accidentally we found out that this is the easiest motorcycle to pop start. Also, and some bikes are like this, some aren't, but this doesn't need a battery to run. Check it out. I'm gonna pop it in second gear. All right. And just like that, you've got a running motorcycle. So what I love about that You know, the battery is one of the biggest things that it'll eventually die from sitting. This bike could sit for a whole year. You could have a bad battery in it. It's still gonna fire up by easily pop starting it. And if you have fuel stabilizer in it, the oil's not gonna go bad. You have a good running bike. I love that. I think that's really cool about the bike. I wish more manufacturers would do it that way. I know a lot of times Honda will be like that. I'm not sure about their sport bikes. It's a good question. So I talked a lot about it. Let's go ride it. All right, to forget everything I said about it starting, it pop starting easy, because sometimes it does. Last couple of times it didn't, so I wouldn't guarantee it. However, we never start riding without reading a little bit of Bible verse. Jeremiah 23:13. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. Amen. All right, so let's see how easy this thing fires up when it's not. Bam. Feels great. So, like most single-cylinder engines, they can only be so balanced, because there's nothing to really like balance off of. It's just one thing kind of moving up and down. It does have a red line of 10,000 RPMs. Not bad. And actually, when I was saying this is a 6-speed gearbox, I was reading conflicting things, and I forget which one this one actually was, but it is a 6-speed gearbox. All right. Because apparently they made a 5-speed model, and then I guess the upgrade was a 6-speed model. So this bike would be an example of what would you rather do. Drive a Miata as fast as you can, or a Lamborghini or something really fast, a fast car, as slow as you know, the speed limit. And the answer to that is, in terms of fun, the Miata as fast as it can is definitely more fun. Now, in terms of owning stuff, you know what I mean? Well, you know, you take the most expensive vehicle, the value, but you could go street light to street light with this thing, drag race all your buddies, and then come to realize you never broke the speed limit. Now, the brakes don't feel awful, but they're still cold. And so there's still time left for them to feel bad. And I'm not really getting on it, so. But at normal ride, I've ridden some bikes where at normal ride, and you go on the brakes and you're like, oh, this is not stopping. But this is basic double-sided rotors and calipers, so it should be pretty decent. So here's the thing, obviously your expectations, they can't help but adjust due to the pricing of it. When you find out that if you were like $50,000 I'd be like, man, I think this thing shouldn't be worth more than 12, you know. But when it's $2,000 and it's fuel injected, it's not broken, I only put 22 miles on it, but it's not broken, it doesn't feel bad. You know, I've ridden some bikes where like the rake was just off and it's like, everything, it doesn't feel like a normal bike. That's not the situation with this. It feels pretty good. Our other riders, Japanese motorcycle riders, there's a guy with a Yamaha R1 pulling up to me and being like, man, I feel bad for that guy. He couldn't afford a Japanese bike, or an American bike, or an Italian bike. Yeah, they're probably feeling a little bad for me, but do I feel bad for myself? Nah. Because y'all paid, chances are they paid more in fees, dealer prep, shipping, and all those costs than I paid on my entire motorcycle. Think about that one. The extra charges for their bikes were more than my entire bike. So no, I don't feel bad for them. You know, there's different ways to look at a motorcycle. A lot of people look at it for status. Some people say status. They don't say status, they say status. But a lot of people look at it for status, and it's like, oh, this is what I got, what do you got? This is what I got, what do you got? Yeah, if that's your game, one, life's gonna be expensive for you. Two, this bike is probably never gonna fit the bill of what you want. But if you love motorcycle riding for the sake of loving motorcycle riding, and if you want to wait a couple years, see how these things actually weather, or go look, do some research in other countries and see how, you know, find this exact same bike with, you know, 20, 30, 40,000 miles just to see how they've done. This could be the bike for you. Now their sticker game, however, is awful. Pretty bad sticker game. What I'm waiting for is eventually I'm going to get a call from one of these foreign entity companies that makes these bikes, and they're going to be like, they're going to pay me to consult and write the manual properly. Because sometimes you read this stuff and you're like, I mean, come on, man. Y'all could at least use AI to help you out with this. This one doesn't look that bad, though. Always obey local traffic rules. Always wear helmet and eye protection. So I'm going 50 miles an hour. Let's talk about the vibration. It's often a problem with single cylinder motors. To give you a very unique comparison, this is going to make sense to like one guy out there. I rode an Yamaha SR500 back from New York, maybe. I put about 300 miles on it. That had a lot of vibration. That was a big 500cc single. This is much more smooth. This is doable. Like my butt's not gonna fall asleep. My arm's not gonna fall asleep just from the excessive vibration. This is actually fairly smooth for a single cc bike. And I gotta admit, it feels great in the corners. If a company, hear me out here, and maybe it's out, and if it's out, I want you guys to tell me about it. If a company could dial this in and figure out whose race components, suspension, brakes, that's all I care about really, suspension and brakes, that you could put on this bike for less than, I don't know, $1,500. So for $3,500, you have something that you can track, maybe even start your own little series. Because I think for the majority of people, if you can race, get some of that danger but not have to be going 160 miles an hour, I think that's appealing for a lot of people. And cheap. I can't get over how inexpensive this bike is. I wish I could find something to complain about. I could say it's not very powerful, and it's not, but I don't think that's the rider who's gonna, I'm not talking the guy who's riding an S1000RR or a 600 Super Sport into buying this bike. I'm talking him into buying that bike before he buys the S1000RR as his first bike. And if you've been riding before, no, it's probably not the bike for you unless you just want something cheap to sport around in and hit the corners. Like I said before, I don't like cheaping out on tires, so run these tires for a little bit and then throw something nice on there. If you're really gonna push it. Me, all I do is push it. I'm going as fast as I possibly can, and I'm not even keeping up with the vehicle in front of me. But it is a new vehicle. I'm not, some things I might expect for being so cheap is the brakes to be wobbly or warped or something like that. I'm not experiencing any of that stuff. I think it just kind of goes to show how much money actually goes into the designing and the R&D of these motorcycles. Also, it is cheaper when you build a bike and you do everything by stealing other people's IP. So that, they're saving money that way too. But I could totally see a bunch of guys, bunch of kids, bunch of young kids being like, yo, let's all buy these bikes. We'll all ride together. We'll have a blast. And we'll be cool with the fact that these are dumb, cheap, inexpensive bikes. And we'll make fun of everyone that's paid, $8,000 for their bike. Because, yeah, they're faster than us, but are they having more fun than we are? And if motorcycling is not about fun, I don't know what it's about. The other cool thing about this, and I didn't even think about this until right now, is that in the world of motorcycles that have been overdeveloped and taken over by technology, this bike is the dumbest motorcycle you could possibly buy on the market. No technology at all, nothing smart about it. It's just a machine. It's just a pure machine, and in many ways you gotta appreciate that. Oh, did you wreck? That's because you wrecked, not because your traction control was getting goofy, or your traction control kicked in, or didn't kick in, or you're just relying on you and your wrist and your braking abilities and just learning how to ride. And I like that. Alright guys, that wraps it up. Very interesting bike. To give you an ending, should you buy this bike? I think a lot of people should. I think this fits a lot of bills. I think, early on, I would probably have shied you away and told you to buy an old something else for cheaper. But I think these are actually nice bikes. And honestly, how much cheaper can they get? So if you keep it in good shape and you go to sell it, I think you're still probably going to get 1,200 bucks out of it. Yeah, you back out of there. And I think this bike could last you for probably longer than you want to ride it. So, all right, guys, that wraps it up. We'll see you guys next time. Remember, it is not what you're riding, but where you're going. And you might like this next video up here. Go check it out.